So Kaitlin Bennett put out a video about the new Supreme Court nominee, and I'm pretty sure we're going to disagree on our opinions of this new nominee, considering what we know about Amy Barrett, or Barrett, or however you pronounce it. But let's take a look and see what Ms. Bennett here has to say.
Donald Trump just announced his new pick for the Supreme Court, and I'm happy to report that the left is absolutely freaking out. If you thought their freak out over Brett Kavanaugh's nomination was crazy, wait until you see the things you're saying about Amy Coney Barrett.
So the left freaked out about Brett Kavanaugh's nomination because Brett Kavanaugh has a history of sexual assault. And one of the victims even came forward and spoke about it in front of Congress. So that's that's a little different than a nominee that wants to overturn a woman's right to choose, has ties to a religious organization that the Netflix show The Handmaid's Tale was based around, and wants to get rid of the separation of church and state. Very different topics, both bad, one of them, in my opinion, arguably worse. I don't think we should have a sexual predator on the Supreme Court, but I also don't think we should have a religious nut job on the Supreme Court either. We have separation of church and state in this country for a reason. And she's, at least people are speculating, I don't know if she's come out and said it, but she wants to abolish the separation of church and state in our government, so that's kind of scary.
So the pick is finally in, and President Trump announced Amy Coney Barrett as his nomination to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court. And if you would like to know my uncensored opinions about RBG, go to libertyhangout.tv right now.
I'm sure you have wonderful things to say about a fellow woman that served on the highest court in the land. Your political differences with her won't influence your opinions or the things that you say about a woman who was recently passed less than a week ago, will it? That's not going to happen, right?
Amy Barrett is a 48-year-old mother of...
Don't worry, we won't be going to libertyhangout.tv. I'm not paying to listen to their reactionary views. I'll listen to it for free on YouTube.
7, and in case you haven't noticed, she is also a woman. So unlike Brett Kavanaugh, the left is going to have a difficult time trying to come up with fake rape allegations against her, which is why I think Trump's decision is...
Fake rape allegations. Fake rape allegations that were corroborated by multiple people. Okay. First of all, women can rape too. Leftists don't believe that women are incapable of committing the act. They're just less likely to, and statistically commit it less than men do. But as far as we know, she doesn't have a history of sexual assault the way Brett Kavanaugh does. She's just a religious zealot. We don't make things up to try and invalidate one's candidacy for the presidency or for the Supreme Court or public office or anything like that. We just point out real things that have actually happened and take issue with it.
So genius. In fact, Amy Barrett's record is so squeaky clean that Democrats are completely scraping the bottom of the barrel to come up with any reason possible to oppose her nomination. And their attacks on her reek of desperation. Now, not only is the left unable to call Amy Barrett a rapist, but it is also hard for them to call her a racist since she adopted 2 black children from Haiti. But that hasn't stopped them from trying. Let me read you some of the cringiest tweets I have ever seen. Some white coloners adopted black children. They civilized these savage children in their superior ways of white people, while using them as props in their lifelong pictures of denial, while cutting the biological parents of these children out of the picture of humanity. Yikes!
This sounds like sarcasm. Like, the way I saw that tweet, it sounds to me like sarcasm. Like that person's taking the piss out of somebody that had a shitty take. I don't know for sure, but it seems like sarcasm to me.
That sounds so racist. Then there's this gem from another blue checkmark Democrat. As an adoptee, I need to know more about the circumstances of how Amy Coney Barrett came to adopt her children and the treatment of them since. Transracial adoption is fraught with trauma and potential for harm, and everything I see here is deeply concerning.
I mean, that's not inaccurate. He's just asking for more information. He's not outright accusing Amy Barrett of being abusive or having a problematic adoption process. He's just asking for more information about somebody that's going to be serving on the highest court in the land for the rest of her life. Seems pretty reasonable to want more information about this person.
The thing I see here is deeply concerning.
I wish I could say...
Did she just replay her own audio, slow it down, and drop the pitch. I remember that happening back in like the skeptic reaction video days of like 2015, 2016. But they would do that with the other person's audio, not their own. You're doing YouTube wrong, Kaitlin.
Say that these are the worst tweets I've seen about Amy Barrett adopting 2 black children, but unfortunately there's much worse. Before I show you guys, please visit patreon.com/Kaitlin Bennett
Don't do it.
if you want to directly support my work and help me get security for when I go out to film. For just $5 a month, you can gain access to my
Help her hire thugs so she can go and harass people in public, and she can use her thugs to beat back people that disagree with her vehemently. I've seen it in videos. It's pathetic. And she also carries a gun with her wherever she goes, including college campuses, which are gun-free zones.
my private Facebook group and
So if you carry a gun, Kaitlin, if you carry a gun everywhere you go, why do you need security? Why do you need a bunch of giant muscle-ripped dudes following you around if all Americans need are guns to defend themselves? That's the reason we have them, right? Is to defend ourselves. So if you have a gun, why do you need to rely on a man to protect you? You're always going on and on about how the left wants to take your guns and get rid of a woman's right to defend herself. You have that right. You carry your gun. Why do you need somebody else to defend you?
get to chat directly with yours truly. Or you can visit our store at libertyhangout.org/store to get about Amy Barrett or bad. Let me show you some more. Another blue checkmark lib tweeted, many authoritarians seized children of color for adoption by white Christians. Pinochet's regime did this with indigenous kids, and Nazis took Aryan-looking Poles for Germans' families. Trump takes migrant kids for adoption by evangelicals.
I mean, that's not inaccurate. Especially the everything from here up is 100% true. The last sentence may be considered speculation, but everything else there is absolutely true. So, I mean, I know you don't want to believe it, Kaitlin, but it is true. I know you don't like when people talk shit about your pals, the Nazis. I don't like it when people make fun of people like me and my friends too. So I get that you're upset that they're taking the piss out of Nazis. But yeah, this isn't inaccurate.
The funny thing about this tweet, well, aside from the ridiculous claims, is that Amy Coney Barrett isn't even an evangelical. She's a Catholic, but I thought
That's an evangelical. Oh my God, an evangelical is just a religious person, usually of the Christian faith. Is she going to try and make the argument that Catholics aren't Christians? Really? Is that the line you're going with? That Catholics aren't Christians, so therefore you can't criticize her for being a Christian religious zealot? Really? Is that really the line of argumentation you're going with?
now social media will flag this lady for fake news, right? One liberal with pronouns in their bio tweeted,
I don't know what is up with her with having issue with people having their pronouns in their bio, especially if they're cisgender pronouns. Like, I have my pronouns in my bio. I'm a cis man, and my pronouns are he, him, and they're in my bio. Do you have a problem with cis people, or do you just not like pronouns? Pronouns are part of the English language.
I have no doubt in my mind that the only reason Amy Coney Barrett adopted a child from Haiti and a child with Down syndrome was to be patted on the back as a mommy martyr. It happens more than anyone wants to acknowledge.
Yeah, so I do see these tweets that say things like this. Now the other ones I don't really have an issue with. The first one seemed sarcastic. The second one was just talking about history and then talking about Trump. This one kind of cringe, kind of like trying to find issue where there may or may not be one. So I can agree that this particular tweet kind of cringe. But I mean, there's gonna be smooth brains online no matter where you go, and she has to zero in on this so that she can deflect from the other criticisms that legitimate criticisms that the left have of the new Supreme Court nomination.
Another user with pronouns tweeted, Amy Coney Barrett is an adopter, the missionary, white savior style of adopter who has 5 bio children and 2 adoptees from Haiti. These are Christian Gucci adoptions, children bought by rich Christian families to signal their wealth and their righteousness.
I mean, there are no doubt people that do that. I forget the name of the celebrity, but isn't there one woman who's like ultra famous, and I can't remember her name, that's adopted like 30 children from Africa and then like props herself up with that fact rather than just quietly doing it out of the goodness of her heart. There are people that do that, sure, and I'm not saying that Amy Barrett doesn't do that. It just seems like they're trying to stuff it in there. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Is this whole video just going to be her criticizing people with like lukewarm takes on Twitter about her adoption history without going into the fact that she wants to get rid of a woman's right to choose and destroy the separation of church and state, or her connections to a religious extremist group? Is she really just going to be reacting to tweets?
This is so unbelievable to even read. You know what? Trump's nomination is more genius than I thought. Not only is the left unable to accuse her of being a racist, but Trump's nomination has helped expose the left for the disgusting racists they truly are. But the liberal tiers...
Nothing about that nothing of those tweets was racist. People projecting racism where there may not be racism, sure, but none of them were racist. They were just criticizing the white savior mentality that many conservatives have. That's not racism. You don't know what racism is.
Don't just stop there. Remember a long time ago, the left was trying to defend Joe Biden's supposed Catholic faith after conservatives brought it into question? And by a long time ago, I mean, just last week. These very same libs are now saying that Amy Coney Barrett is unfit to sit on the Supreme Court because...
That's because Joe Biden doesn't make policy around his religious views. He just signals himself as a Catholic to appeal to the religious people in the country, but he doesn't write policy around his religious views. I mean, a lot of Christians take umbrage with a woman's right to choose, yet Joe Biden's in favor of that. If he used his religion to influence his political leanings, he supports the LGBT community. He was vice president when gay marriage got legalized. If he allowed his religious views to influence his politics and the policies that he writes and votes on, then yeah, I would take umbrage with it. But he doesn't do that. The right just needs to paint everybody to the left of them as godless heathens and Satanists. So he's got to signal that, no, I'm not a Satanist, I'm a Catholic. Doesn't influence his politics, but he's a Catholic. Amy Barrett's religion and religious views definitely influence her politics. She's openly said so.
You guessed it, of her Catholic faith. A Democratic Senate candidate tweeted, "The U.S. is only 20% Catholic, yet Amy Coney Barrett would ensure 6 out of 9 justices are of the denomination. This goes strongly against the separation of church and state, and fails to equally represent the American people. No confirmation until inauguration."
I mean, yeah, that is accurate. Only 20%, if this statistic is true, only 20% of America is Catholic, yet 2/3 of the Supreme Court would be Catholic. I mean, we left England and came to America. Hello, honey. Yes, pee pee poo poo. Very funny. We left England. Damn it. We left England and came to America to escape the religious persecution of the mandated faith that was the Church of England, which was an offshoot of Catholicism, or I mean, it was a Protestant church, but it was very closely tied to Catholicism. We see the same religious overbearance taking place in our country today, where 2/3 of the Supreme Court is of one particular denomination of one religion on the planet, of which there are thousands. There is a separation of church and state for a reason. If Amy Barrett was a Muslim woman, the right would not touch her with a 10-foot pole if she was as outspoken about her religious beliefs in the Muslim faith as she is about her religious faith in the Christian. They take issue with the right takes issue with the particular religion that you practice, whereas Democrats and those on the left take issue with you using any religion and inserting that into your politics. Yes, honey, those are cute emojis. You're spamming my screen, though.
Well, gee, I guess Trish will have to refrain from voting for Joe Biden then, since according to NPR, Joe Biden's faith shapes his politics. We should probably make sure a Catholic like that doesn't...
How? In what way does Joe Biden's faith shape his politics? What policy has he voted on in the last decade that has been influenced by his politics? He's not trying to abolish a woman's right to choose or gay marriage. He's not trying to abolish the separation of church and state. I don't see Joe Biden's faith, his religion, influencing his political action. He may make proclamations of his faith and speak about God during his speeches, but his voting record and the policies that he makes do not have religion baked into them the way you see people on the right do. I mean, maybe.
Win the presidency then, right? One liberal tweeted, I was baptized and confirmed Catholic. I went to 12 years of Catholic school. My entire family is Catholic and nobody I know has ever heard of People of Praise. Amy Coney Barrett is not a typical Catholic, no matter what you think of Catholics. She's a fringe radical. They call
yeah, that's the religious organization that she's associated with that inspired the Netflix show A Handmaid's Tale, where women are used as breeding stock and are treated as subhuman and less than second-class citizens in America in the context of the show. So yeah, she's associated with a radical fringe religious group. That's not inaccurate. That's not true. What you have a problem with facts? Facts don't care about your feelings, I thought. That's what you people on the right always say. It's a fact that she's associated with this particular religious group. Why do you have a problem with it?
College Democrats Club at Amy Barrett's alma mater of Notre Dame tweeted, Democrats don't dislike Amy Coney Barrett because she's a Catholic woman. Newsflash, there's been a Catholic woman on the bench for 11 years. We dislike her because she's unqualified, homophobic, and looking to take millions of people's healthcare away.
True. That's what I've been saying. They don't have an issue with her being religious. It's with her bigotry and the way she implements her religion into her politics. That's the issue. That's what we have a problem with. We don't have a problem with her being religious. Most of this country is. It's getting more and more atheistic. Thank the gods or God or whoever. Thank the universe, if you will. That we're moving in that direction. But most of this country is religious in one form or another. They don't have a problem with her being religious. It's how she uses her religion in her politics that we take issue with. That's what I've been saying this whole video, and she's gonna try and deny it.
Call me crazy, but what I hear when I read that is, we dislike her because she's Catholic. This dog.
No. You were being deliberately stupid. You were being deliberately stupid. Holy shit. The tweet literally said, we don't dislike her because she's Catholic. We dislike... Wait a minute. Hang on. Are you saying, Kaitlin, are you saying that being religious automatically makes you homophobic? Automatically makes you a bigot? Automatically wants to deny millions of people health care? It's almost like you're telling on yourself. Are you telling on yourself, Kaitlin? Are you saying that being religious makes you these things, and therefore, if you dislike that someone has these opinions, then you dislike them for their religion? It's almost like you're saying that religion is bad.
Doctor from Texas tweeted, I no longer have a uterus.
Why is that funny? Are you mocking a woman for having fertility issues, for no longer being able to carry a child? That's horrifying. What the fuck is wrong with you? I no longer have a uterus. Why is that laughable? Perhaps she had a medical disorder that caused her to need to get a hysterectomy. Why are you laughing at her? You are a psychopath.
But if I did, I would be screaming right now over the possibility of Amy Coney Barrett replacing RBG on the Supreme Court. And I'm Catholic. I'm really confused. Where did her uterus go? Did it just get up and walk away?
There's a multitude of medical conditions that a human being can have that has a uterus that would cause that uterus to need to be removed. A multitude of that. Here, I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google all of the reasons, or a list of reasons. List of medical reasons. Hysterectomy, why it's necessary. Yeah, except cookies. Heavy periods, pelvic inflammatory disease, fibrosis, adenomyosis, prolapse of the uterus, cancer. I mean, that's a pretty short list right there of just like 5 big reasons why. There are medical reasons as to why a woman might have a hysterectomy might have her uterus removed. Why are you mocking a woman for having legitimate medical issues? What do you mean her uterus just got up and walked away? Do you seriously not know what a hysterectomy is? Are you seriously that stupid? I mean, yeah, you are, for sure. But to put it on display? That's embarrassing.
I don't... Where the f*** did it go? Then there's this guy who tweeted, Trump's likely RBG replacement, Amy Coney Barrett, is a Catholic extremist with 7 children who does not believe employers should be required to provide healthcare coverage for birth control. She wants the rest of American women to be stuck with her extremist lifestyle.
Yeah, not a lot of women want 7 kids. My wife loves our daughter. She wants more kids. She doesn't want 7 of them. She doesn't want 5 biological children. At least, honey, please don't make me pay for 5 children. As far as she's told me, she wants 2. And then after that, one of us is going to be on birth control. I'm probably going to get snipped, but that's because I can get it done for free without having to deal with the rigmarole that men have to face trying to get a vasectomy in certain areas. I know it's not all of them. It's just certain doctors will refuse to perform the procedure. I had it happen to me at 18. I tried to get one at 18. They told me no. But in my current profession, I can get one. So I'm probably going to get a vasectomy so we don't have more than 2. And if we decide to have more later, the vasectomy is reversible. But not every woman has that option. Not every woman is married, is going to be with the same person for the rest of their life. Not every woman can require or be with a man that has had a vasectomy. So they're going to need other options to protect themselves from pregnancy. Condoms aren't 100% effective, neither is the pill. An IUD is pretty damned effective. The implant is pretty damned effective. All of those have a failure rate, which is very, very low, but coupled with condoms and spermicide, you can pretty well guarantee that you're not going to get pregnant. And they're all related to healthcare. That is a healthcare need that women and men have. And Amy Barrett's going to try and take that away from women. That's not even to speak about fucking abortion, a necessary medical procedure that millions of women across this country have had. She's going to try and take that away too. Not every woman wants to be a mother of 7 kids. Not every woman wants to have kids at all. There are tons of women that don't want kids. And that's perfectly acceptable. There are plenty of people that are willing to have kids to make up, people like Amy who have 7, to make up for the women that don't want any. A woman should be able to choose what happens to her body if she gets pregnant and what to do with her body if she does become want to be.
Now wait a second. Didn't the Notre Dame college Democrats say liberals don't dislike Amy for being a Catholic? Yet this guy is calling her a Catholic extremist. So which one?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a Catholic. There's a problem with being a Catholic extremist. Just like there's nothing wrong with being a Muslim. There is a problem with being a Muslim extremist. It's the extremist part. That's the word that they're focusing on, is the extremist part.
What is it? And then of course there's this tweet from Biden's VP pick Kamala Harris who wrote, Trump's hand-picked successor to Justice Ginsburg's seat makes it clear they intend to destroy the Affordable Care Act and overturn Roe. This selection would move the court further right for a generation and harm millions of Americans. I strongly oppose Judge Barrett's nomination.
I don't like Kamala Harris, but I 100% agree with it, with everything in that tweet.
I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like an awesome agenda.
No, it doesn't. The ACA has made healthcare affordable and accessible to millions of Americans. Roe v. Wade is incredibly important and needs to stay. She is going to harm millions of Americans for a generation because she's in her 40s. She's going to be on the court for probably at minimum 30 years.
And we can only hope that Amy Barrett actually does all of those things. I could keep showing you hundreds of more tweets from butthurt Democrats, but you probably get the point by now. Liberals really hate Amy Coney Barrett because she is the complete antithesis of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She is Catholic, she is pro-life, she is pro-constitution, and she is a loving mother that put her money where her mouth is and adopted 2 foreign-born children.
So she hates women, she hates poor people, and she's a religious extremist that wants to inject her religion into politics. Yeah, we don't like her.
Has literally literally no ammunition against Amy Barrett, and I can't think of a more fitting pick for the job than her. She is a true conservative that practices what she preaches, and better yet, she will give the GOP a 6-3 swing in the Supreme Court. That's why Democrats are so mad about her nomination, because
You know what's funny, Kaitlin? Roe v. Wade won in the Supreme Court with a 6-3 Supreme Court. 6 conservative judges approved Roe v. Wade. Now, I'm not going to say that Amy's nomination and acceptance into the Supreme Court is for sure going to destroy Roe v. Wade, get rid of a woman's right to choose, because one judge is not going to make the difference as far as the Supreme Court is concerned. It is possible, it's more likely now than ever before. But one judge's nomination, or even 2, considering Trump has had 2, is not going to necessarily
Say your name, Stu.
mandate that Roe v. Wade is going to be overturned. There's a high likelihood that it will, though. And people are rightfully scared, because it shouldn't be happening. A woman's right to choose should not go away just because conservative people run our government, just because they don't like it because of their religious views. Your religious views should have no bearing on my life. Your religious views should have no bearing on my wife's life. Your religious views are your religious views, not mine. I don't have a problem if you're religious and say, I disagree with abortion, so I'm not going to get one. I take issue when you say, I'm religious and don't like abortion, so you shouldn't be able to get one. That's where I have an issue. Amy Barrett's nomination to the Supreme Court is a massive blow to women everywhere, but I'm not going to say for certain that Roe v. Wade is going anywhere. It could happen, but it's still up in the air.